and welcome to episode 27 of All the Stitches. My name is Colleen and I'm coming to you from the Lakes region of New Hampshire in the United States. Well, it's been almost 2 months, I think, since my last video, but I finally got around to sitting down with you and going over some of the things I've been working on. So that's what I'm going to do. Oh, by the way, I should mention to anyone who is new, this is a channel about quilting, knitting, needlework, and whatever crafty thing that I might be into at any given moment. So I am just going to go over quickly what I have to show you today, and that is knitting. Excuse me if I'm looking off to the side, I'm looking at my notes. Knitting, counter cross stitch, needlepoint, and some quilting. I'm also going to have my usual segment of something old where I show something that I have made or somehow own that I've had for a long time. And in addition to that, I'm going to do what jumped into my cart, just a little acquisition. And then at the end, I'll have a little puppy update for Puppy Pete. I'll start with some knitting, and in fact it's what I have on. This is the vanilla sweater. The pattern is from Corrine Tomlinson from the Woolly Thistle, and I'll try to stand up. I apologize for the lighting today. It's not great. Somehow it's gotten very dreary out, but I'll do my best. Well, as you can see, it's sort of a boxy type sweater, almost sweatshirty, with full sleeves and raglan sleeves. It was quick. It was a pretty quick knit, and the yarn is a Rauma Finnel. It's a Norwegian yarn, and it's a very woolly yarn. I don't think I could ever wear it against my skin, but this is the first time I've had it on, and it's perfectly fine for me over this turtleneck. So I think I'm going to get some wear out of this one. I wasn't so sure about it at first, but I like it, and I really like the color. The color, by the way, if you're interested, is it's color 7, whatever that is. It's this green, almost a Kelly green, but a lot deeper than the Kelly green. So my next knitting finish is very much in season. I'm stacking them in my hand here. Whoops. These are the Tiny Pumpkins, a pattern by Susan B. Anderson. You can see I've made a whole pumpkin patch now. So they're all, I followed all the same instruction for each one of them, and yet each one of them is a little bit different from the last. It was just a really fun, quick thing to do, and as far as I'm concerned, I'm still not done. I think I'll probably keep knitting these right through Thanksgiving. And I'm definitely on a fall kick because I also finished this cowl. This is the Dipped in Autumn cowl by Lucinda Iglesias. The yarn is Art Yarns Merino Cloud. The orange multicolored color is called Earth Tones, and I don't know the name of the color on this solid, and it appears to be black, but I'll tell you the truth, there are times it looks black, there are times it looks like a deep blue, and then there are times that it's almost greenish. So it's a really nice yarn. It's a beautiful yarn. It has a little bit of cashmere in it, so it's very comfy over around my neck. And it's kind of a loose cowl, but sometimes I don't like that because it doesn't cinch in, but to me this is kind of more of a fall cowl, and so I don't really need that tight fit. But I really was happy with this. It's been in my Ravelry queue for a long time. And now it's done. And so of course I had to make the hat. So this is the Dipped in Autumn hat. Same yarn. I got the perfect pom-pom. It's a little big, but it is a perfect color. From, I believe I got it from Simply Socks Yarn Company. And I'll just slip this on. It's a nice fit. You hold, in both pieces, you hold a yarn double. The yarn is a fingering weight, but you hold it double, so it has a nice bulk to it. I found fingering weight cowls and hats are too flimsy. They kind of, like a cowl just sort of flops down, and the hat just doesn't, it's not very warm. So I'm really happy with this holding it double. Now I have some kind of cross stitch finishes to show, and though I've shown you this finished piece before, I have not shown it fully finished. So this is what I did with my Sweater Weather counted cross stitch pattern by Plum Street Samplers. You can see I built a little quilt around it and just lightly quilted it, just enough to hold back that piece of cross stitch or the piece of Edyta so it doesn't pop out. I'm so happy with the way this came out. I just love it. And I used the called for DMC colors. I made a few little changes simply because they didn't pop out from the fabric I was using. Okay, so my next kind of cross stitch finish was something that I saw online, and I quickly ordered it and got it and stitched it up real quick. It just seemed absolutely perfect for the season. And that is this Welcome Autumn. The pattern is from Primrose Cottage Stitchers. I used I believe it's an 18 count Edyta with mostly the suggested DMC colors, though I did, once again, I didn't have everything, so I used some of my own stash for I think one of the lightest pumpkin. But this was a fast stitch, and it was so fun, and it was just, I was stitching it while the leaves were falling and turning beautiful colors here in New England, and I just love it. I found this tiny trim here that's little, the little ball trim. Well, I haven't really done a lot of counted cross stitch, so I'm learning about finishing. So what I learned with this one is it's not so easy to sew these little things. It does have a little tab on it that you have to catch as you're stitching the piece together. You have to catch it in there, but it is so tiny. I don't know what the trick is. You experienced floss tube people, I wish you'd tell me, is there a trick to sewing in these little tiny pieces of trim? Or do you just tack them on by hand afterwards? I don't know. Inquiring minds want to know. And here's the other thing I learned. Once I turned it right side out, I thought, oh, it got all wrinkled, so I'll need to press it. I pressed it, and guess what? Well, the trim must be mostly polyester or nylon or something, because I melted this whole top. A piece of this top just melted onto my iron. So the iron survived, but I had to cut out a piece of the trim and try to stitch it back in. And it's not perfect. I might just sew a little bow here or something just to cover that up. But live and learn. So what I did was, like I said, I sewed right sides together with the back fabric, and then I I cut out, trying to see what I'm showing you, I cut out the, instead of leaving an opening when I sewed, I just cut a slit in the back so that I could turn it right side out, and then covered up the slit with this little wool, just quickly hand appliqued pumpkin. Love it. My next finish is needlepoint, and once again I've shown you this Black Lab needlepoint already finished, but now it has been to the framer, it's back from the framer, and she did an absolutely fantastic job with it, and I couldn't be happier with it. So I'm going to try to show this to you. You can see she triple framed it, triple matted it, and I just love what she did. I'll have to check out how this, if you could really see this on the video, and if you can't, I will pop in a picture. What I have next are my works in progress, and again, I'm not doing a lot of quilting sewing these days because of the puppy in the house. But I have time when he's napping. Of course, I should be cleaning the house to knit and to do some handwork. So I do actually. That's why I have all those finishes. What I'm working on now, I'm working on a new Prairie Schooler Santa. That's this guy. This was the 2021 Prairie Schooler Santa. I just love him. And this is how far I've gotten. You can see I'm closing in on finishing the raccoon, and let's do this. I put it aside really, and I don't know why, I just went knitting crazy for a while. All I really wanted to do was knit and not do any needlework. And then I found that autumn pattern, that little pillow, and so then I put it aside again. But I think now I'm in a season where I'm thinking about Christmas again. So I have a couple of knitting works in progress. One of them is the Right Around the Corner shawl, and the pattern is by Lisa Haynes. And I have knit this before, but I am making this as a gift. I'll say no more, just in case. So this is the start I have on it. This was really fun. I don't usually like to make anything twice, but I really enjoyed making this, so I don't mind doing this again. I love the way it stripes up. This time I am using yarn from Craft House Magic, Ellie Jones of Craft House Magic, and I think it's just so lovely. The gray speckle, she names all of her yarns after songs, which I love. So the gray she calls Here Comes the Rain Again, and the blue is Because the Night. What else is on my needles? Well, I'm working on some fun Christmas socks. Kind of working two at a time, though not on the same needles. And you can see that, the yarn, I'm just making vanilla socks, but the yarn is Fibernymph Dyeworks, and they call the yarn Inversibles. So this is red with green stripes, and this one is green with red stripes. So it comes in smaller, they each come in smaller balls or skeins. And you can see, I think you can see, this is mainly the red one, this is mainly the green one. So it might be hard to see there. But I thought that would be a really fun, quick Christmas sock. And it does have stellina in it, so it has that little spark, if you can see that. And I joined Carla Knits podcast. Is one of my favorite knitting podcasts, and she is running a make-along right now of Christmas projects or Christmas gifts or anything holiday-ish. And so I decided to join in on with these socks. I thought that would be fun. I am keeping them in my festive little project bag that I made. So that's what I have on the needles. What else do I have going on? Well, I did some sewing before our little Pete came along, and I've been trying to keep up with the Patches of Blue Quiltalong from 2018. Yes, I said 2018. I just went back and started to make a quilt that I've loved for all those years now, and decided at the beginning of the year to break it out by month, and I have kept up. I did skip over one of the most difficult blocks, I think, only because I just didn't have the time to really spend on it right now. But I have finished a couple of them. And don't look too closely. This is the house block. I think I have to take out the top piece. I think I might just take out this very top section, because see how the chimney falls over the roof there? I think if I take it out and trim them up a little bit, then I can save this. I don't want to have to redo it just for that. And then I made this block. Here's the sleigh. And I did this block, this applique, with just a machine blanket stitch, just to overcast the edges. So if you haven't seen this, here is the quilt that I've been working on every month. So all of the blocks are done except for this. And hopefully before the end of the year, I'll have some time to sit up in the sewing room and get that one done. And then there'll be little things like these, little checkerboards. I have to, once I get it all together, I'll apply some of the snowflakes that appear. I may or may not use as many as she has, but so I'm pretty much keeping up with the year, and that's exciting. Hopefully I'll get this block done. That's my goal, by the end of the year. And then if I put it together in January, I'll be happy. I have not, she suggested sewing these outside I think they're half square triangles as you go along. I have not done that. I've not decided if I'm going to do that border on them, or if I'd like it to be sort of open, more of an open instead of a framed look. I'd like to decide that after I'm done. But it's been really fun. Some of the blocks are a tremendous amount of work, but I think it's going to be a beautiful quilt when it's all done. My other sewing project is something I did just yesterday. And like I say, I haven't had much time to sit in my sewing room. But yesterday, my husband was gone all day. I sent Pete to puppy daycare for the day, and he had a blast. And guess what? I had a blast too. I went in the sewing room first thing in the morning, and I stayed there until I had to go and get him. So it didn't work on anything that exciting, but I was happy to be able to get sort of organize my room and get something sewn. And what I did was, my quilting group is having a block raffle at our December meeting, our holiday meeting. And what you do is, if you make, they provided a bunch of patterns, really great, simple but nice Christmas theme block patterns. I mean, you could do whatever you wanted, really, as long as it was a holiday theme. And So what you'll do is you'll get a ticket for every block you make, and then they'll draw however many names, split up the blocks between the winners. So you'll have a nice little Christmas quilt if you win. If you don't win, then I've just wasted my day upstairs yesterday. But oh well, that's the chance you take. I wanted to do them anyway because they were kind of fun and festive. So let me show you. Here's one of them. Here's the little Christmas package. That was such an easy little block, and it was so fun. And I used really old Christmas fabric I had for so many years. But it was perfect. I think the stripe just made it. So there's one. Then I did these stockings. I thought it was so fun. I had this knitting fabric, and I thought that would be great for the cuffs. And once again, really old Christmas fabrics I used for the socks. Really fun block. I'd love to win it back. And then I did one that's a little bit different because I did sort of more of a subdued palette with this sort of a deeper green and the deeper red, as well as the plaid. The plaid in the middle has a metallic look to it. But they were really fun. I'd like to make more. If I have time, I'll make more. And the more you make, the more chances you have of winning them. And now it's time for something old. My something old this year is, it's hanging on my wall. And so I'm going to put up a picture of it here instead of showing you. And it's big anyway, so it's the best way to show you. But I realized I went through my notes from all my previous episodes, and though I've shown you the other seasonal version of this quilt, I've never shown you this fall one, and I'm really surprised because it's my favorite. So here it is. It's called Autumn Celebrations. It's from a book by Janet Selk. I've said that so many times on this channel because I've made autumn, winter, spring, and summer quilts from that book and love each and every one of them. But here's the autumn one. It's all hand appliqued. It's hand quilted, and I made it in 2002. And yes, I know it's not that old, but it's old when you think about it. It is old. Now it's time for what jumped into my cart. A few things have jumped into my cart, but I'll only show you this one. This came in a canvas bag with the Kitchener stitch very handily shown on the front. It was what they're calling, I purchased it from Simply Sock Company. They're calling it the Taste of Autumn Knit Kit. And it comes with this beautiful, dreamy autumn yarn. The yarn is from Dream in Color, who really talk about dreamy. They make beautiful color yarn. The name of the yarn is Colossal Sock. They produced it for Simply Sock Yarn Company. In the bag with the yarn, in this very handy bag, they also included a couple of cozy things: cider mulling spices, a nice cozy tea, and also a yummy chocolate caramel kind of turtle type chocolate. Yeah, that's gone. That was long gone. That didn't make it through the first day. But isn't it beautiful? I really could not resist. And yes, I do not need any more yarn. But look at that. I can't wait to see how that looks all knit up. If you're interested in a puppy update, here's a quick Pete update. Like I said, he's almost 5 months old. He'll be 5 months in December 2nd. And he's doing really well. He's growing very quickly. He went from like 3-inch legs to, gosh, very long legs. But he is growing, he is learning, and he's in puppy school, puppy kindergarten. So we take him once a week and then practice with him. And he's really good. He's a very, very busy, active dog. I think probably like most labs in that kind of breed. But if you can get him to focus, he gets it really quickly. So he learns quickly. He just doesn't always apply it in the right place, but he's a real sweetheart. We just have to always be on our toes. He's very busy and active and into everything. And, it's not like when you're younger. This is why people have children when they're young, not when they're old like me. But anyway, he's a lot of fun. So he's going to puppy school. He's had a couple days at puppy daycare just to get him socialized and be around other people and other dogs, and he has a blast. He's a rough player, but they put him with dogs who are like him, and yeah, it's great. He was at puppy daycare yesterday. He fell asleep in the car. I had to wake him up to get him out of the car. He slept all night long. I took him for a walk this morning, and now he's sleeping again. So daycare is a good thing for puppies. I think there are times that you're just like, oh my God, this is a lot. What have we done? I mean, not that we will regret it for a minute. He'll be a wonderful dog. But there's times it's a lot. But then, the other day he was outside, and he loves being outside. So I'm looking out the window at him, and he's just so darn cute. My husband put a couple of bird feeders out the other day, and he just sits there. And he sits like little Buddha, and he watches. He sees all the birds. He sees everything. He doesn't miss a trick. And he's watching the birds fly in, and he didn't try to chase them or lunge at them or anything. Same way with squirrels and chipmunks. He sees them out in the yard, out in the back, in the woods, and he doesn't go after them. He just sits there with the ears up, and he watches them. So he has this sort of peacefulness. He's probably actually quite lazy when in his heart. He doesn't want to bother to chase anything. But to me, it almost looks like this peacefulness and you can see him as an older dog. Like right now, he's a crazy puppy, into everything. But when I see that, when he reacts that way or doesn't react to things, or doesn't make him nervous, or doesn't make him want to chase, I see the older dog in him. And I think he's going to be a really good boy. Well, as far as plans for upcoming videos, they probably will continue to be spaced out a little bit at this point. But I could see in December doing a, kind of moving into Christmas festive video again this year, and then after that doing in January. I'll have to go over my Make 9 list for 2021, and then I'm trying to decide if I want to do a Make 9 list for 2022. It actually worked out really well. There were times I was a little aggravated because I wanted to just fly off and do something else. But I have to say, it really helped me to get things done and get me focused. And I worked on plenty of other things in between. So I think I'll probably do it again. So I'll have a Make 9 review and look at what I'll be doing next year in January. So at least I know a couple of episodes are coming. I have to confess to you, my loyal watchers, that I've had times that I say, what am I doing? I think that this was great during a pandemic when people were quarantined and everything. I needed it. Some of you needed it. I got a lot of nice comments and things, and I continue to. And I know I have very loyal people that watch me, but the channel has not grown in a way that I thought it would, and that's okay. I mean, you know, I know who's watching. I know a lot of family is watching. A lot of friends are watching, and I think that's great. So we'll see where it goes. Like I say, I have a couple more in me, and then, you know, I'm always making, so, and I love to share, so I'll probably continue to make them. It's just, and especially through the winter. I think people enjoy watching these things more in the winter. In the summer, it really tapered off. And the work that I put into these things, getting prepared, making the video, doing all the editing and uploading, it takes several days. So I do, and believe me, I really appreciate those of you who watch and that have watched loyally and who comment and who like and subscribe. I really do appreciate it. But it's such a small group that sometimes I say, why am I doing this? It's so much work. But I guess the answer is because I like it, and because I know that there are some of you that do like it as well. And with that, I'll say it's time to go. My little friend next door is scuffling around, and he'd probably like my attention now. So I will just tell you, I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving if you celebrate Thanksgiving, and enjoy the rest of your fall. And I will see you in December. And until then, I hope all of your stitches bring joy. Take care. Thanks for watching.